Really quickly, is there anything that's off limits to ask you?
Not
Not
really.
that I would ask anything too crazy, but it is
Yeah,
a little bit of a freestyle, so I just want to make sure.
I don't got no skeletons in my closet, so I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, 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 I got a thousand balls, bitches ain't fade when it blows. Tryna play the game, don't know how it goes. Can't hang if you don't know the ropes. Ain't nobody playing except Smokey Dog. Niggas too distracted by the hoes and clothes. Out here in the jungle, niggas hungry dog. But everywhere I go, I got remote.
All right, you guys, welcome back to another episode of Life with G podcast. It's your girl G, the Puerto Rican podcast princess, your favorite baby mama in the building. And we have a special recording artist. I'm so excited to have him on, Rakeeb Wize.
What's happening? What's happening? I go by the name of Rakeeb Wize. I provide the vibe. Ask me no questions. I tell you no lies. We in this motherfucker, man. I'm here with G Baby. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Yeah.
nice. And where are you recording in from?
Right now I'm in North Carolina.
Okay, all right. Well, tell the people some of your background. I know a lot of people, the basics that they want to know is like your age, your zodiac sign, and then where you're from originally.
Yeah, I'm 28, big Aquarius energy. You
Okay,
know what I'm saying? February 1st, the start of Black History Month. So,
nice.
yeah. You said where I'm from, Charlottesville, Virginia, is
Okay,
where I was raised. I was born in Norfolk, Virginia, and I moved to Charlottesville when I was 2. Moved from Charlottesville to the Cary, Raleigh area of North Carolina when I was in like 8th grade. So,
okay.
yeah,
So you've been in North Carolina for a good little minute now.
been in North Carolina for a while. Yeah.
Okay, all right. That's what's up. So tell me a little bit about when you wanted to start doing music. Like, at what age were you when you knew this is what you wanted to do?
I wrote my first rap at 7. At 7 years
Okay.
old, I seen the Bounce With Me video by Bow Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Bow Wow was
Yeah.
popping back in the day,
You
man.
feel me? Like, and I was into basketball too, so it was the correlation between the music, the basketball, and the young black kid. It was just like, yo, I could do that shit. And so ever since then, I've been writing raps, I've been writing music, and I got in the studio for the first time at 12, dropped my
Mm.
first mixtape at 13, and been going ever since.
Now that's something not a lot of people can say, is dropping actual projects at that age. Was there like anybody else in your immediate family that you saw that was already in the industry?
Family, no. Um, but a friend of the family, well, how do I put it? So my mom had a homegirl, and her
Mhm.
homegirl had 2 sons, and one of her 2 sons was a rapper. He was older than me at the time, and his name Jay Wills. He put me in the studio for the first time, and yeah, shout out to Wills, man. I wouldn't be doing this shit
Hey.
if it wasn't for bro. So
I don't know. I always like to ask where that love for music comes from because not everybody is able to get access to those things like at that age. So, what do you think about that project? Do you ever listen to that project now?
I haven't listened to it in a while.
Hmm.
It's been a long time since I listened to it, but I remember all the songs, well, most of the songs. It's kind of cringe to listen to now because I'm a grown man. You feel me? I was
Right.
13, but you know, it's dope to see my progression at the same time.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Okay.
you really can't even find it no more because it was on datpiff.com, and you know they closed datpiff. So
Damn. I forgot that site
that
existed.
was that was where everything was at when I first was starting this shit. It was datpiff and live mixtapes.
Live mixtapes. Shout out to live mixtapes. I think that one's still up and going.
Yeah, it is.
That used to be my shit. When LimeWire went down, it was live mixtapes all
Yeah,
day for
yeah.
sure. Damn, that's a throwback. Okay, so you dropped your first project at 12. At that point, were you just consistently dropping projects, or did it take a while before you did another one?
I think I dropped another one, maybe I don't know, at like 15. Then another at 16 and 18. So I
Okay.
was dropping, but I didn't know what I was doing as far as marketing and shit like that.
Mm,
I was just putting shit out on SoundCloud and um whatever platform there was at the time. Like I had a mixtape called 40 Days in a Dream.
Mm-hmm.
So let me rewind a little bit. So my first mixtape was called Just Scratching the Surface.
Mm-hmm.
And I dropped another tape called Adolescence when I was about 14 or 15. And then I want to say I dropped 40 Days in a Dream when I was 16, 17, probably 17, because my daughter was I had to be 18. I don't know. It was somewhere around that
Somewhere
time.
around there, yeah.
Yeah. But I've been doing this shit for a while is the point.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2019, I dropped this album called Ashes, and that's when I really started to find my sound and like find who I was as a person too. You know,
Okay.
yeah.
What about that album or project specifically made you feel like this is more of like what I want to put out there moving forward?
The honesty, the transparency. I wasn't when I first started. I was mimicking my favorite rappers because I was trying to find out who I was.
Mm,
So um, it was like this was the first time that I found my own voice and I was telling my own truth and
mm.
my own story. So I
Okay.
think it's a very pivotal moment in my
I
career.
like that. I like that a lot. And that was at 19. All right. So, and you originally grew up in Virginia and then you moved to North Carolina. Can you talk about like how those different places maybe affected your style of music? Like, what do you feel like you pull more from?
I pull from both.
Okay.
Uh, so when I was growing up in Virginia, we was heavily influenced by up north music, like New York.
Mm,
So we wanted to sound like New York rappers. But when I came to North Carolina, it was a totally different contrast. And so it was more about the beats and it was more about the flows and the cadences as opposed to the bars.
mm,
Where I come from, we used to the bars and we used to lyricism. Not to say that the South doesn't have lyricism because it does,
right.
but it just wasn't the focus when I first came down here. It was just like the hard whoever got the hardest shit, that's what's popping out here. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It hard if it knock in the club, if it knock in the car, then that's what's going on. So I had to find a balance between lyricism and having my shit knock.
Mm.
I'm saying that's why if you listen to my music now, you can really pay attention to the production. It's like all of my shit knocks, but it got some soul to it too.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
absolutely. And I've heard some of your work, so everybody who is watching this definitely needs to check him out. It's valid, and I like the lyricism, and that's something I'm big on. Like I will listen to rap, but you gotta like get a little groove to it, and then you're
yeah,
actually saying
yeah,
something. So I respect that for real,
appreciate
for real. So you mentioned before when you were initially dropping projects that you didn't know what you were doing, but I feel like that phase is so important for anybody in anything that they're trying to pursue. So, can you talk about the moment where you realize, like, okay, I might need to actually put a little bit of extra work on the marketing front and how you even got more knowledge on that?
I realized it when I put 6 months worth of work into music and it got 25 views.
Mm,
That's
yep.
when I realized I was like, okay, what am I doing wrong? For a long time, I thought it was the music itself. Then I thought it was me, and I was like, nah, it's not me. It's not the music. The music fire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just not marketing it the right way. I'm not pushing it to the right people. I'm not being consistent enough either. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
It may seem like I was being consistent because I've been dropping for so long, but I think now I'm more like you're not gonna forget me. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
I'm staying in your face.
Mm-hmm.
So it was times where I would go months without dropping a song or years without dropping a project. I usually drop my projects every 2 years.
Okay.
And that wasn't intentional at first, but now it kind of is. It's like, okay, I'm gonna take this 2 year span and just grow,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
live life and learn some new shit. Um, but I learned to answer the other part of your question. I got the knowledge when I started venturing outside of music and started doing partnerships with different companies and stuff like that. It was like, okay, this is deeper than just a song.
Mm-hmm.
I have to know how to really be a businessman. I have to know how to really promote things and you know.
And I think for a lot of artists, that is hard for them to kind of go into, to lean into. You really have to like support your own brand. The brand is you, and you got to market the fuck out of that. Do you feel like you have a team now of individuals help you with that, or do you feel like you're still kind of on that solo grind when it comes to the business side of it?
I do have help. I got my homie Drake. He does all my videography, photography, um, and that's just my right hand man. You know, I got the homie Jai in the back. That's like one of my closest friends in this music shit right now. And it's just
Mhm.
like, you know, it's good to have people around you that can keep you focused and keep you on the right track and shit like that.
Yeah.
But I would say that overall, you know, this is an independent thing. Like
Hmm.
it's no big label, it's no big budget, it's no backing behind this shit. We just know how to make it look good. You feel me? So
How do you feel about the music industry now? Things are shifting, right? Social media is such a great way to network and put yourself out there that people aren't relying on these big labels as much anymore. So, for you as an artist, do you know if you're leaning more towards eventually working with a label, or would you like to stay independent yourself?
I would like to stay independent. If I can make it make sense with a label, we could talk, you know,
Hmm.
but I would like to stay independent as long as I can and do as much as I can with the team. I just don't really see much value in a major label situation right now,
Mm.
other than, you know, getting immediate funding that you have to pay back. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But
Right. Yeah. Can you explain to the audience, for those who aren't familiar with the music industry, how that actually works? Like, it's not really like money in your pocket per se. It's almost like an advance and you're working it off, right?
yeah, it's an advance, it's a budget. They basically, if you sign to a label, depending on what kind of deal you got, different artists have different deals.
Hmm.
A standard deal that we will be talking about is a 360 deal, where basically you sign to this label, they give you a certain amount of money up front. This money is supposed to be used to create the best album possible, to promote
Hmm.
it, the videos done, the production, the studio time. Most artists buy the chain, they buy the car, they buy the crib, and they go to the strip club and, you know, throw that shit. And so when it's time to recoup the money that they were loaned by the label, they haven't made anything back because they wasted it. So
Hmm.
if you understand that process of it, then you can sign a deal and you know you can work your way through it, which I've contemplated on. But right now, I think I just want to figure out what I can do just on my
Yeah.
own and just see how much I can do, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've put in a lot of work, so I feel like you deserve to be able to see the fruits of your labor come directly to you, for like anybody who's
Yeah.
working on that, right? I noticed in your bio you said no genre, or somewhere in there you said no genre.
Yep.
So you're indicating that your projects don't have a set genre. So is it that you switch with each project, or is that you like do a mix on each one? Like, what does that look like for you?
I just make what feels good.
Mm,
I don't have a plan. I don't have a box that I like to stay in as far as I make R&B music, I make hip hop music, I make,
mm-hmm,
you know, rap music. I might not even rap on the song, but I'm putting it out. Like on my new album that I'm about to drop, I got this joint where I completely made the beat out of my voice. Like
mm.
just different layers of me just making noises. You know,
Okay.
like,
Okay. So on like some it's like pentatonics type shit. You was just layers.
I don't know what pentatonics is,
Uh,
but
the, uh, they're the acapella group. So they like beatbox and then they do the
okay.
harmonies
Yeah,
and stuff.
exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
yes.
Yeah,
All right. I
exactly.
like
But
it.
it was just me just doing it in the studio, just layer by layer.
Nice. Okay.
And I don't even know what to call that, like what that genre would be, because it don't sound like anything that I've heard.
Yeah.
So I would like to say, if I did have a genre, it would be called fusion,
Mm,
because I take a lot of elements from a lot of different things and I put it all together
got you.
and make what I make. So
I like that. So you mentioned that you have a new project coming out, which inspired us doing this interview in the first place. So I'm really excited to hear it. When is it dropping and what is it called?
April 15th, it's
Oh
called The
shit.
Channel. called the Channel Surfer. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Um, Channel Surfer episode 1
Mm.
dropping April 15th.
Do you know how many episodes there's gonna be?
Should I tell you that? Should I tell them? Should I tell the people all of that?
I
Like,
don't know. Maybe they could guess, and then if we do like another interview follow up, then we can drop it on them.
let's see if they can guess how many episodes we got coming.
Damn. How many songs are on the project?
On episode 1,
Yeah, on episode 1.
4.
4. What do you think it would range between the episodes? Like you would do more songs on another episode?
You gotta listen. You just gotta, tune in. You gotta see what's going on.
Okay. So is it like a storytelling type vibe? You feel like?
It's not a linear story, but it is a story.
Okay.
It's
I
not
like
a
that.
story that just goes one way, but
Right.
it is a story though, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, I like that. So what was the inspiration behind Channel Surfer? What would the graphics look like?
Astral projection.
Oh, I was just talking about that shit today. Can you tell the people what that means for those who don't know?
Okay, so astral projection is basically when you leave your physical body and you travel with your spiritual body. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
If you believe in that type of stuff.
Y'all need to Google it. If you don't know, Google that shit. All right. They talked
And
about
if
it in
you don't
CIA
know,
documents.
check out this this show called Behind Her Eyes, I think it's called. It was on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on there, but it shows it. Joey Badass actually said something about this in an interview, and then I went and checked it out, and I was like, yeah, that's exactly like what it is. But
Damn.
Astral projection is basically like leaving your body and traveling elsewhere. And so I feel like we do that every time we imagine or every time we remember. I feel like when you remember something, your spirit is literally traveling back to a moment in time.
That's an interesting take. Okay, I can see that. I can see that.
And when you imagine something in the future, you're traveling to a moment in the future. So I feel like we do that a lot, but we don't realize it. And so this is just kind of bringing that concept to the forefront, but through music, because this album is all over the place. It's a bunch of different moments in my life, a bunch of different emotions, a bunch of different genres. That's why it's no genre. It's just, it is what it is.
I like that. How long did it take you to make the project? Like how many months, maybe years?
It wasn't a full year. I might have started in October of last year, but it's been done for about a month or two now.
Okay.
Yeah, I just been polishing it up and adding little finishing touches, but the songs have been done for a while. I just been sitting on it for the right time.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you a couple questions about your upcoming project. Also, I'm sipping a little bit if you wanna just.
Oh, you sipping some? Let me go
I'm
and get
sipping some. I got my Mike's Harder lemonade. That's what I got. Shit. What you got?
It's a little Truly. A little gas.
What's Truly?
Huh? No, we ain't giving niggas.
Oh no, we not. We gonna cut that shit out. They're not paying us. So I'm gonna ask you a couple questions about your project, right? If you could describe the project in 3 words, what would those 3 words be?
Retro, futuristic, fire.
Retro and futuristic, on fire. I like that. That should make y'all want to listen for sure.
That was just off the top of my head. I ain't even really put no.
That's how you feeling today.
That's it though. Retro,
I like that.
Futuristic, fire.
What is the most personal song on the album? If there is a personal song.
There are. The personal songs aren't on episode 1 though. So but on episode 1, the most personal song on episode 1 is a joint called 10 Toes Up.
Okay.
It's where I basically tell my story of the independent artist, the starving artist, the backpack kid with the raps, you know what I'm saying, wanting to find his way, and the ups and downs of that journey. and I think I painted that picture in a pretty vivid way, you know. So I hope
I
people
like
get
that.
into that one for sure.
If you can remember a specific bar on the album that you feel like people would definitely need to highlight and pay attention to. You know that one line in the song where it's like, "Ooh, that was hard. Run that shit back." If you had to run that shit back bar on your album, which one would it be?
It's God's side versus the other side. Ain't no fucking hiding.
Hey.
Yeah, God's side versus the other side, man.
So in my research, I saw that you really like sci-fi, right?
I love it. Yep.
Okay. So and it sounds like your album is kind of like sci-fi inspired a little
For
bit.
sure. Yeah, I watch a lot of sci-fi.
Okay. Do you feel like that's something that influences your projects a lot as far as the visuals go?
On this particular one, yeah. Um, I think this is the first time I really channeled that sci-fi energy. I kind of tapped into it on this Moonroof music video that I
Mm,
got. That's out now. Y'all can go check that out. Um, it's called Moonroof. I dropped that on the Keeb album that came out in 2021. I kind of tapped into some sci-fi with the colors and me like pulling the fucking moon towards me. I don't know if you saw
mm.
the video,
I don't
but
think I've seen that one yet, but now I'm gonna go look for it now.
you gotta check that one out. Like
Yeah.
that's probably my most cinematic video out.
Okay. Well, damn it. No, I got so distracted by the visuals that you was talking
You know
about.
what I'm saying?
No, I forgot the
I was
question.
pulling
Damn.
the moon. But the sci-fi, yeah,
Yes.
this project is heavily inspired by the sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was watching this movie called Interstellar. That was fire.
Mm-hmm.
I love Star Wars. Um, what else do I like? Black Mirror.
I like
I
that
like
show too.
I like how Black Mirror every episode is different,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a heavy theme in this album. Like it's not like I said, it's not a linear story. Everything is kind of all over the place, but it's still connected. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm. It's like flashbacks or like moments of
saying?
things
Yeah,
all collected.
exactly.
Okay. I get
Exactly.
it. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's a dope way to approach a musical project. So you mentioned that one of the tracks where you pulled that bar from, or maybe it was a different one, but it was talking about your journey as an artist, like an up and coming independent artist. Just to kind of give you some context, right? This is going to be the first episode for a So You Think You Can series. Because I tell people all the time, if anybody tells you that you can't, yes, the fuck you can, but
Yeah.
it's not as easy as it looks. And I feel like a lot of people get discouraged. Can you talk about maybe moments where you felt like, man, I don't know if this shit is worth it? I know you mentioned like the marketing aspect of it, but was there ever a time in your journey as an artist where you were like, man, I might just hang it up?
Plenty of times.
Yeah. Can you talk about like what would trigger that?
Comparison.
Mm,
Um, comparing myself to others and comparing my journey to other people's journey can is the quickest way to discourage yourself. So any artists out there, don't do that shit. You know, everybody starts somewhere and everybody finishes somewhere. So just ride your own wave and keep your eyes forward. Don't be looking around and all that shit. Just tunnel vision.
shit hit. Yeah.
Um, it's been a lot of moments where I thought I was about to change my family's life, and it didn't quite pan out that way.
Mm,
And so I feel like if I don't continue this journey and I don't finish this journey, then everything that I've done so far has been for nothing.
mm-hmm.
So um I really don't identify too much with discouragement these days because I know I don't have a option. Like this is what I have to do. This is what I'm gonna do. You know?
Mm,
And so it's like it's no stopping. I might slow down a little bit. I might take a break, but I'm not stopping. So
yeah.
yeah.
That's how it should be. Consistency is so important, but I know that it's very discouraging sometimes, like going through the process and, like you said, not getting the views that you want or realizing how much money and time goes into it.
Right.
Because that's a lot too. Most people got to work a job, regular 9 to 5, then do this. Is this something that you're able to now do full time, or are you also holding down a 9 to 5?
I don't work for anyone right now. I
That's a
work for
blessing.
myself.
That's a
I
blessing.
outside of music, I have a company called the Visual Plug Multimedia where I do graphic design, photography, cinematography, and I help a lot of brands and artists with their vision.
Mm,
And you know, serving others has been more fulfilling than I ever thought it would be. Helping other people get their ideas out is has been how I've been able to stay afloat. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
So, yeah, that's what I do. That's what
That's
I do.
what's
I just
up.
I just create.
Mhm.
I create whether it's music or visual arts or just any type of idea. Like I'm always that person in the friend group that's like, hey, let's try this, let's do this, or you should try this.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So
I noticed when I was looking at your page that you are very involved in the community. Can you tell us a little bit about Earth Gang?
so Earth Gang, if you asking about them specific,
Mhm.
Earth Gang is a rap duo who is a part of J. Cole's Dreamville label.
Okay.
Um, I am a part of a nonprofit organization based in Winston-Salem, North Carolina called Humans Nonprofit. So we have been fortunate enough to join forces and partner up with Earth Gang for this fifth and final Dreamville Festival. And
Mm.
we'll be doing a community event. We'll be giving back to the community, doing arts and craft, having music and stuff out there, chopping it up with the kids and just, the less fortunate. So that's what it's really all about, just giving a helping hand.
Yeah, that's what's up. And I saw you went to a school recently as well, and you were showing some kids there how to do everything. You actually brought the studio equipment, right?
I did. That was my second time doing that.
Oh
And
wow.
I just locked in a third one coming in May.
Nice. Is
That's
it
what
like a music class that you're going to and like you pitched it to them or how did that get started?
Nah, I just be going to career days.
Mm-hmm.
I just pull up, I bring the studio, and I try to show the kids like that is possible.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take much. Like you don't need $1 million studio to record a song. You feel me? Like we doing this in the classroom. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, that's really what it's about for me. Is just like inspiring the next generation of creatives and potential artists, and just anybody that wants to do anything with life is like just letting you know that it's possible.
I like that you're really focused on like the youth and them being able to see that it's accessible and attainable for
Right?
them, regardless of finances, because that's something huge as well. So you mentioned that this isn't just like one part is going to be a couple episodes. Is that
Yeah,
going to be something that you're working on continuously until it's done, or is there something else in the works for you?
there's always something else in the work.
Yeah.
Um, it's a lot in the works. It's a lot in the works. A lot of it that I can't speak about. But this project, this project mean a lot to me. I think this is my best work yet so far, and I'm excited for people to hear it. Like it's definitely gonna be something special. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm excited for you. And you said it's dropping April 15th, right?
April 15th, 20
Okay. And where is it going to be available on? What platforms?
everywhere.
Everywhere. So
Every
YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify,
yes,
all that
yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Can you let the people know where to find you at? Like, what are your handles for your socials?
You can find me at RAKEEBWIZE everywhere. Rakeeb Wize, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. You know what I'm saying? All that good stuff. I'm everywhere.
Okay. One final question for you. What is advice for those who are watching that think that they want to be a recording artist?
Take your time. Um, it ain't no rush, and you don't have to do what everybody else is doing because that's what's popping. You know what I'm saying? Like find your own sound, find your own wave, find your own voice, and make the music that moves you. Like don't have anybody else in mind when you're creating your music. If you're creating music in the studio, it needs to be for you. It needs to be how you feeling, and it needs to be what you're thinking, not some shit you heard another rapper say. This for the young out there. This for the YNs. Don't be saying shit you heard your favorite rapper say. Say shit that is true and genuine to you. You know what I'm saying? Like tell your story. And I feel like if you're doing that, then you can't lose. You know, so
I
it's
like that.
story.
Yeah, that's some good advice for the people out there who are watching this and think that they want to be in the studio and being a recording artist, just like Mr. Rakeeb Wize. Can you drop that Instagram handle for him one more time?
RAKEEBWIZE everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Everywhere. And
Right.
be on the lookout for Channel Surfer.
Channel Surfer coming April 15th, 2025. I got some other shit coming right before that though, so just stay tuned.
Wait, can you tell us what that is? What else is coming?
I can't tell you what is gonna shake the ground though.
Okay. All right. Well, y'all know, I don't know when exactly we're dropping this, but we are going to shoot for it before the album drops. So y'all can be on the lookout. So yeah, we appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. To everybody who's watching, you already know my motto. If somebody tells you that you can't, yes, the fuck you can. And Rakeeb here is proof of that. All right. Besos and blessings and have a good night.
Peace.
By any means, can't slow down, moving at full speed.